All right. Well, I will go ahead and get started so that way we have ample time at the end if anyone has some pressing questions. Thank you all for being here. It is my pleasure to be the host today. As you know, Wayland CPAs loves to do this just to keep you guys up to date with the latest news in finances, Medicare, and etc. So hopefully this will take some of the burden of trying to do the discovery and research off of you, and then you can get some answers for your pressing questions. Kelly and Teresa, thank you again. This is our third year in a row that we've been able to have these lovely ladies present for us over Zoom. So, absolutely a shout out to you guys. You've been wonderful, and I've learned so much about Social Security for a young man. But anyway, I will turn it over to you guys. Please keep your questions either in the chat or towards the end. We will have some time towards the end so that way we can have all those questions answered. And if you have any concerns, anything like that, feel free to also put those in the chat. I'll be monitoring it for the entire presentation. So anyway, I'll let you take over, Teresa.
Thank you, Jacob. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Your Social Security buddies are here. I'm Teresa Busher, joined by my friend and colleague, Kelly Dragoo. Together, the two of us cover central and imagine kind of north of Columbus all the way down to the river, central and southern Ohio, a little part of Indiana, as Social Security public affairs specialists. So we are Social Security employees. We are boots on the ground. We're based locally here in the community, but we kind of swirl all over doing Social Security education, outreach, and liaison work. So we do front-facing, some things we do in person, a lot of things we do virtually, and we live dangerously, Kelly and I like to say, with our groups, because we do give you our emails. And you'll have a PDF hard copy of all these slides. So some folks laugh that they keep them close. We Kelly will laugh for years to come, all right, as a resource, as you know. So just know that you have us kind of in the background to help you navigate. Now, because Kelly and I work for many Social Security offices and talk to folks literally every single day, we are not the ones who will make your Medicare application. We'll talk about like how to apply for Medicare A and B today. I know Kelly did the previous part one session on retirement and spouse and that type of thing. Again, we're not able to meet individually with you, but you have us kind of in the wings to help you. If you have follow-up questions from today, you can shoot us an email. You know, if you just have some general questions from session one you didn't feel like you got answered, you know you have us in kind of in your in your back pocket if you need general info. If it's something it's an application, we'll go over how you're going to go about doing that today. Kelly and I always ask that you give us, you know, like 10 days to get back with you, just because we are in front of folks a lot, again, a lot of times out of the office also. So just know that if you don't hear from us, you know, within that week to 2 week range, you can always, you know, shoot us another email and say, you said you were there for us, where are you? All right, and we'll don't be shy to follow up if you don't get a response, but give us a little bit of time there, okay? So we give a quick disclaimer also as we move along that things can change very rapidly with our rules, etc. I mean, think about Kelly covered this in our last session, how the windfall, which was for the public employees and the offset. I mean, this time last year, Kelly, we didn't think that would ever change, didn't we? And then that world changed in January. So we always give our little disclaimer, things can indeed change on a dime. So we always say, go to the website for the most accurate info. And you know that we appreciate Jacob, we appreciate all of you at Wayland, but we do not endorse or give more love to one group over another. You guys all understand this. We all work for you. We work for everybody. We don't endorse one group or prefer one CPA group or financial services over another. We all get that. Okay. And when we do our questions, you guys in chat, keep it light, right? No personal info. I mean, if you got to share something personal, we want you to do that offline with us in an email. Okay. And here's how we're going to progress today. I'm going to hand things over to Kelly here in a second, and she's going to cover like kind of the basics of going over contacting Social Security and some eligibility, and then we're both going to dive a little bit into the enrollment periods and how you and when you sign up. That I'm going to take kind of the a little bit on the higher income stuff with the Part B premium, a little bit on those who are on the other end of the scale, kind of talk higher income, but a little bit about resources for lower income folks too. We'll have plenty of time. We're going to move at a pretty quick pace, but again, we're just really focusing all on our Medicare A and B world today. And we'll have plenty of time for open Q&A as well. Kelly, did I miss anything there with our intros and such? All right, take it away, my dear.
Okay, thanks, Teresa. Good morning, everyone. Let me start by just giving you some information on how to contact Social Security. We always suggest people go to our website first when you're just starting to learn about everything and try and gather as much information as you can. Go to www.ssa.gov or socialsecurity.gov. You'll see our website at the bottom of every slide. Just make sure you're always putting .gov after Social Security, not .com. That's a lookalike website. So ssa.gov. You can apply for benefits here, especially Medicare. Only takes about 15 minutes to apply for Medicare only, if that's all somebody is signing up for. It's a pretty quick, easy application most everybody can do. So we always suggest that. If somebody is not able to do things online, though, they can certainly give us a call at our national toll-free number, 1-800-772-1213, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. There is staff that will answer that phone line, and they can help arrange an appointment with the local Social Security office. So usually those appointments are set up to be done by telephone. There's usually not a need to bring anybody into an office anymore for any reason. So we always usually get people to do things online or over the telephone with us. You can, again, use the website to do all kinds of things. Replace a Social Security card, replace a Medicare card. If you have a My Social Security account, you can apply for benefits. You can look up and download our publications to help you learn more about benefits. You can create and sign into your My Social Security account there. Lots of things that can be done online. Local offices are open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can go into an office. If you don't know where the offices are, you can look that up, ssa.gov/locator. But we just need to make you aware that starting in January of this year, Social Security has gone to an appointment-focused model, which means we prefer everyone to have an appointment for every type of service before they walk into a local Social Security office. So even if all somebody wants to do is replace their Social Security card, we ask that they either go online and start that process or call for an appointment before they try to come into an office. There are times people can walk into an office and be seen the same day and time, but most of the time that office will triage you, find out why you're there, and if your reason for being there is going to be more than a minute or two, then they're going to go ahead and set you up with an appointment for a time later in that day or for a future date. So it's always advised that people contact us for an appointment first rather than just walk in. We will still see people that are of more vulnerable populations or who have a more dire need for immediate assistance. So people, if they need to walk in because they cannot wait for an appointment, et cetera, they should do that and let the office staff know that they have a more dire need to be seen right away. The My Social Security account is something people can use to either plan and prepare for retirement and Medicare, or once they get benefits from Social Security, they can use their My Social Security account to do all kinds of things like get proof of their benefits, look at their Social Security statement and review their earnings record, replace a Medicare card, replace a Social Security number card, update addresses and phone numbers in direct deposit. Lots of things can be done with the My Social Security account. If you're coming up on retirement and you're thinking about what will I get, this is where you go to take a look at your statement, take a look at your earnings record. Use our retirement calculator that's there to give you some really good benefit estimates on what your benefits would be. Okay, so with that behind us, let's talk Medicare. You might think, why is Social Security talking about Medicare? Social Security is the gateway into Medicare. We are not the federal agency that administers Medicare, however. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services actually administer it. So Social Security is involved as far as getting you enrolled into the original parts of Medicare, parts A and B, which we will talk about today. So when you are ready to enroll, you do see the Social Security Administration. For some of your questions, you'll contact Social Security. For some other questions, you'll contact Medicare directly. But there is not a local office to walk into to talk to Medicare. So we are the face of Medicare. To do things with Medicare directly, you'll either need to go to their website, medicare.gov, or 1-800-Medicare. When you have questions about things like billing or what Medicare actually covers, those are all questions for Medicare, because again, Social Security is helping you get enrolled. So we're involved with those types of things that have to do with enrollment options and sort of that thing along the line with Medicare. On the screen is a Medicare card. So if you're not familiar with Medicare cards look like today, that's what they look like. It'll show you not your Social Security number, but a Medicare beneficiary identifying number. Doesn't mean anything to anybody if you should lose this card. It just means something to us for our records. And it'll show you if you have Part A and or Part B Medicare, and when your coverage started for those programs. Now, who's eligible for Medicare? Well, we mostly think of people 65 or older. However, Medicare is also for people that get disability insurance from Social Security. So after 24 months of being entitled to Social Security disability insurance, people who qualify will get Medicare as well. So there is that 24-month waiting period for people if they get it based on a disability. Otherwise, you get Medicare based on age at age 65. Now, there are some people with disabling conditions that are Lou Gehrig's disease or end-stage renal disease that do not wait 24 months to get Medicare. So after they've been found disabled based on those conditions, then Medicare can begin immediately for them. You qualify for Medicare A and B based on working and paying into the Social Security payroll tax. The payroll tax is known as FICA, or the Federal Insurance Contribution Act. So when you work, you are earning your credits towards your retirement, towards your disability insurance, towards survivor benefits for your family, and towards Medicare. So what happens is FICA taxes are collected from your wages, and you pay 15.3% of your gross wages towards this FICA tax. Now, you split that tax between you and your employer. So you pay 7.65%, and so does your employer. And overall, you pay that 15.3% of gross wages. 6.2% of that tax is paying for your monthly benefits that you may receive in the future: retirement, spouse, survivor benefits, and disability insurance. The other 1.45% of that tax is for Medicare. So when you're paying that Medicare tax on your wages, you're actually insuring yourself for premium-free Medicare Part A. So this is why you don't have to pay a premium when you get Medicare Part A. During your working career, you've already paid the taxes that afford you with that insurance. So most people do not have to pay anything for Part A once they go on to Medicare Part A. Now, almost all employers collect the Medicare portion of the FICA tax. That includes people that are under different retirement systems like OPERS, STRS, SERS, Ohio Police and Fire, that sort of thing. So there are different retirement systems, but pretty much everybody today pays the Medicare tax on their wages. So this makes you eligible for that Medicare Part A. Even if you don't have enough credits based on your work to qualify for a Social Security benefit or a Medicare benefit, You could buy Part A if you want it. You could even get Medicare Part A by qualifying off of your spouse's record. So if you have a current spouse, a deceased spouse, or an ex-spouse who worked and earned their 40 credits, then you may be able to qualify using their credits if you don't have the credits necessary of your own. And if you don't have any credits, or you don't have enough credits and you don't have a spouse, then you could look at purchasing Part A if you want to, because it would not be premium free for you. Part B costs everybody a premium. So Part B is more of a optional benefit that you could buy if you want to, although you will hear as we talk, although it is optional, it is something you will likely buy, and you will pay a premium for that. Everybody pays a premium for Medicare Part B. So let me talk a little bit more about what is Original Medicare. Original Medicare is Part A and Part B. Part A is hospital insurance, and that covers most of your inpatient hospital expenses, skilled nursing care after you've been in a hospital, and hospice care. Again, there's no monthly premium if you've earned your 40 credits that you need. When you enroll in when you sign up for your Social Security benefit, once you turn 65, you will also be signing up for at least Medicare Part A. So Part A and your Social Security benefit go hand in hand. Some of you will retire earlier than 65, so you won't get Medicare until age 65. But your Medicare Part A enrollment is mandatory at age 65. And Part A has a look-back period of 6-month retroactivity. So if you don't sign up for your Social Security benefit and or Part A until you're beyond age 65, Medicare Part A will automatically look to backdate you up to 6 months, but no earlier than age 65. Teresa will go into that a little bit more here in a little bit. Now let's talk Part B. Part B is medical insurance. This is your doctor visits, your outpatient coverage. And as I mentioned, this has a cost associated with it. So everybody has to pay at least the minimum standard monthly premium, which is $185 a month this year. Some people will pay more than that, so that's why you see that asterisk after that. And that's pointing you down to the bottom of the page there with higher income beneficiaries will pay more. So we'll talk about that a little bit later when we talk about IRMA, which is income-related monthly adjustment amounts. So again, Part B helps cover your doctor bills, your home health care, preventive services. The premium is deducted right from your Social Security benefit if you're already drawing a Social Security benefit. If you haven't started collecting a Social Security benefit each month yet, though, then you'll get a bill from Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, usually on a quarterly basis. If you prefer, you can change that quarterly bill to a monthly debit from your checking account. So you do all of that on Medicare's website or call Medicare, Medicare.gov or 1-800-Medicare to set that up. Now, there are other parts of Medicare. So all we have talked about so far is Part A and Part B. Again, that is known as Original Medicare. You have to have both of those parts of Medicare before you can choose any of the other options that go along with Original Medicare. So if you want to purchase a Medicare Advantage plan, you have to have Medicare Part A and Part B in place already. If you want to purchase a Part D prescription plan, you have to already have Part A and Part B. And if you want to buy a supplemental or a Medigap plan, then you need to already have Part A and Part B in the works. So those Part C, Part D, and the supplemental plans are through private insurance companies. We do not enroll you in those at Social Security. So if you want one of those extra policies to help pay what Medicare A and B do not already pay for, then you sign up through those or through a private insurance company of your choice for those benefits. We refer people to the Ohio Department of Insurance's program called OSHIP with a hard P at the end. It's the Ohio Senior Health Insurance Information Program. And they are a group that answers all of your questions about Medicare. They can talk to you about Medicare prescription drug plans, the different supplemental plans that are out there and how they compare, the different Advantage plans and how they compare, and the different drug plans, Medicare Part D Extra Help, which is the low income subsidy to help people with lower income and resources pay for their prescriptions. So this is a free, unbiased service, which will help you pick the Advantage plan or the supplemental plan or the Part D prescription plan that works best for you in your personal situation. Of course, you can talk with insurance brokers or call insurance companies of your choice, but this is an unbiased decision maker for you to help you figure that out. They also do free webinars and schedule free consultations with you to help you make those decisions. Okay, with those basics, let me hand things over to Teresa, and she'll talk about all the enrollment periods and the specifics that go along with it.
Thank you so much, Kelly. All right, you guys, that was a great background for us. Like, everybody is basically going to go into this foundation of A and B. So it doesn't really matter which Medicare market product route you end up going. It really doesn't matter. Also, if you have like TRICARE or some type of retiree insurance. I mean, almost all of us are going to have Medicare A and B as our base. And there is not an ongoing open enrollment. Medicare A and B have a fixed enrollment. And so this is what causes some of your clients to get nervous, right? Because they're like, I've heard there's these big penalties. Well, there can be, all right? But we're going to really break this down because most folks honestly go very smoothly through the Medicare A and B enrollment process, all right? Just a sliver sometimes that have issues, and we're going to try to make sure that we hit those issues so that would not be your people, your clients, your family, etc. So you got to kind of think about Medicare when you're 65, and we'll go through each of these enrollment periods right now, okay? There's an automatic enrollment period. That's for people that are already on Social Security coming up on 65. But if you're 65 and you're not already on Social Security, you have an enrollment period. It's called an initial enrollment period just by being 65. You could enroll in Medicare. Does that mean every single individual who is 65 is going to enroll in Medicare? No, it does not. People who are working or have their spouse working and have insurance through their work have something called a special enrollment period. You see that on our right side here. So that means you can defer your Medicare if you have work insurance or spousal work insurance, and then you go on Medicare when you retire or you stop work, okay? And then there's a catch-up period called the general enrollment period every single year. So it's like in the worst case scenario, there's a catch-up period every single start of the year, January, February, March. But there could be penalties here. So we're going to look at each one of these right now in a little bit more detail, okay? So first things first. You just heard me say that some folks automatically get their Medicare card. So let's say that I went on retirement benefits or widow benefits. I don't care what kind of benefit it is, spouse, etc., at 64. Then about 2 months or so before my 65th birthday, I am going to get a Welcome to Medicare packet in the mail. This works like clockwork. In the Welcome to Medicare packet will be my card and other information. Now let's pretend that we're going to turn 65 like in December. Pretend our birthday's Christmas, whatever. That means like towards the end of October, we would get our Welcome to Medicare packet, and our card will say December, like 2025, okay, in our example. And that means the entire month of December. Like, you don't have to wait to go to the doctor until Christmas or after Christmas, okay? It's the entire month you're 65. Now, look at our second bullet point. If you know somebody who's a first day of the month birthday, okay, pretend our birthday was December 1st, okay, then our Welcome to Medicare packet would come and it would show November as our first month of Medicare. Go figure. It's an actuarial rule. People born on the 1st, actually attain their age the last day of the month before. So if your first of the month birthday, you go the month before, that was when we would consider you to be 65. All the rest of us, second and beyond, it's the month we would turn 65. That entire month would be considered that first month of eligibility. The month doesn't have to wait till the day of our birthday. Okay, so again, you don't have to do anything. If you're already on Social Security, this works beautifully. You get the packet. All right, now inside the packet, there is information that says you can disenroll in Part B, and Kelly touched on this. All right, that's our last bullet point on the slide. It says that, you can voluntarily decline this. That is going to be rare, okay? The only time that it is safe to delay Part B is if you have work insurance. And normally if I'm 65 and I'm already on Social Security, I'm probably retired, not working, okay? Because work limits go until the full age. For most of us, that's 67. But let's say that I have gone on retirement. I'm getting my Social Security, and I'm on my husband Ed's work insurance. So Ed is not getting Social Security. Maybe he is, either way, but he's still working full time, and I'm on his. He's got me as a +1 on his work insurance. Okay, that's a case where if I'm covered under Ed, even if I'm turning 65, I could safely decline. All right, Part B, because I can stay on Ed's work insurance. We don't kick everybody off because they're 65, all right? And then when Ed stops work, I enroll in my Part B through the special enrollment period. Again, we'll go over how to do that here in a minute. All right, but that's the only scenario, really, where you can safely decline is if you're on your work insurance, not retiree, work insurance, and your spouse is working, you're already on benefits. Okay, you could decline in that type of situation and then safely go back in when your spouse stops working. All right, but most folks who are already retired get their A and B in the mail, and beautiful, it works. Okay. But a lot of folks, I mean millions and millions of folks, think about your own clients, your own loved ones circle, are 65 and they are not on Social Security yet. They are working. Or maybe they're just waiting to take their Social Security. They want to boost it till 70, whatever. Okay. You got to think about Medicare at 65. That doesn't mean you have to take it, but you got to think about it, okay? Because we need folks to understand that if they are, look at our first bullet point here, you guys, you got to follow the breadcrumb trail as to what kind of insurance they have. They can safely delay if they have work insurance, their own work, spouse's work. But maybe I'm working full-time. I give the example here in the Dayton area. We have a lot of folks who are retired Air Force, retired military, and they're on TRICARE. All right, that's military retiree insurance. Same thing in the Columbus area, okay? And maybe I'm working full-time. I'm a contractor. I'm working in private industry, whatever. But my insurance isn't through my job. My insurance is TRICARE, which is military retiree insurance, not active employer coverage. It's retiree insurance. Or maybe I'm your client and I'm on COBRA because I got a severance package for my job, or I'm on the Affordable Care Act because I didn't have anything else, or I've been living on the edge. Haven't had any insurance. Okay, you need it at 65 then. All right, boom, done. If your insurance is not through active employer, it is retiree insurance, COBRA, you need Medicare at 65. Even if you don't elect cash benefits, because you don't have to sync up your Social Security with the Medicare. You can do them separately. Okay, so in my example, pretend I'm working as a private contractor, but I get that TRICARE sends out letters. Most COBRAs will also saying, hey, dear Teresa, you're turning 65. You need to go on Medicare. All right. We recommend to make sure things are seamless because you want that Medicare if you're a retiree. You want that in place in the month you turn 65. So we recommend that you apply 3 months ahead. All right, but in order to make sure that things are in place in the month of 65, you can apply anytime before 65, but no sooner than like 3 months, ahead. So a month before, 2 months before, 3 months before, you can apply and everything will go in the month of 65. You can do this all online. It is a very easy application and only takes about 20 minutes or so. Or call us and we'll do it on the phone with you. All right, you have a grace period then. You got the month of 65, and you actually have 3 months after 65. That's your little window when you could jump into Medicare without any type of issue around age 65, okay? So again, maybe I decide, the month that I turn 65, let's pretend that's now for us here in March. I wake up this morning and I'm like, I just had an epiphany. I'm done. I'm done with work. Okay. Can I start my Medicare? Yeah, but I'm in the month of 65. So that means it's going to start a month after. So my Medicare will actually be effective in April. Now, of course, we want people to try to apply up to 3 months ahead if they know. But in a case like mine, I just wake up and I do it. Can I do it? Absolutely. All right. And we'll process that. It's just that it may not start April 1st. I mean, it will start April 1st, but I'm saying it may take us a little time. Maybe it's, normally takes us about 4 to 6 weeks to process an application. So if I applied right now, we would make things effective in April. And even if it didn't, maybe it isn't done processing until April the 11th. My effective date would be April the 1st in my example, okay? So what if I'm working? Do I have to file for Medicare? No, Kelly and I get tons of questions including from many professionals who literally will argue with us. And they will say to us, everybody has to apply for Medicare at 65. And we're like, no. We understand that some of the language that you will see on our own Social Security website is kind of out there. It's a little bit scary because we want people to be thinking about this and look a little bit further, okay? But there is no registering at 65. It's apply or don't apply, all right? Because sometimes they'll say, no, everybody registers. Go ahead, look online. Go ahead, look right now. There is no registering. You make an application to put it into motion or you don't. Okay, so just filing willy-nilly at 65 is it's creating a world of problems for a client because Kelly and I saw where this one individual said, well, my advisor said everybody has to sign up at 65. So he went through an entire application signing up for Medicare A, Medicare B, and then at the very end of his application where it says under penalty of perjury, I'm applying for Medicare, he put in remarks, I really don't want Medicare. But submitted it. You just said you wanted it. I don't care what Mark said. You said, I apply for Medicare in that application. So then they had to come back and ask for withdrawal. We can do that. But I'm just saying it's much better to just say, stay out of Medicare if you do not want it. I will show you how folks apply. If they're on their work insurance, they do not need to apply for Medicare Part B. Or their spouse, doesn't have to apply for Part B. If they have work insurance, they have to apply when they retire, not at 65. Okay. Now, what about the free A, though? I mean, if I'm working, isn't it a nice idea just to get the free A? I mean, I like free, and it's secondary hospitalization coverage, which is huge, by the way, if you have a hospitalization. Well, Kelly and I don't just blanket tell everybody, go file for free Part A at 65. It really is something you have to look at individually. Because if a person has a non-traditional insurance, like a high deductible with a health savings account, not a flex account, talking about a true HSA, you contribute, employer matches, then there's tax implications. It's not a Social Security issue. This is for using PAs, and is a tax implication, okay? So what we're telling the public is, we'll say to them, if you have a traditional insurance, like a PPO or such, why the heck not just file for free Part A? It would be secondary to your, employer insurance. But if you have a true health savings account with a high deductible plan and you love it, then you probably want to stay out of Medicare A, the free part, as well as Medicare B. Because if you go into Medicare A, it's going to shut down your contributions. Not necessarily right away. It's not the hand of God just coming in there and shutting it down right away, but it's going to shake out on a tax return is what we've learned from you guys, okay? So what we're telling your folks, okay, is listen, and all of you want you to, give this to your family as well, all right? You have to think about it. Don't just reflexively go on Part A because your bestie went on. This happened to my sister-in-law. She was in a high deductible plan. Her bestie was in a traditional PPO type plan. Her bestie said, go on Part A, go on it. Well, then it's going to mess up all your contributions and you might have to withdraw and all kinds of stuff. But look at our second bullet point, you guys. You got to keep in mind the Part A, Kelly mentioned this, comes joined with a Social Security benefit once you are 65 plus. So if you decide to take your Social Security, let's say at age 70, maybe you've held off, but you want to keep working. Maybe you want to keep working to 71 and a half, 72, whatever it is, okay? You cannot get out of Part A. We cannot extricate that from your benefit. They are joined, all right? You will have A, and it goes back retroactively 6 months to cover any potential hospital bills that you've had in the last 6 months. That's free, but we cannot stop that. That is a regulatory statute right now. A comes with benefits and goes back 6 months. All right, so what we tell, again, your folks, and what you would want to tell, again, those of you that are on here as clients, tell your family and friends, be aware. Look at our bullet point 4 here, okay? We recommend that you talk with your employer or with a tax pro up to 6 months before you want your Social Security to start, or like at age 65 if you're not sure what to do, okay? Again, this is an IRS issue, so we refer folks to IRS for more detailed information. But for example, we have talked to some folks who are turning 65 and they said, well, my employer is going to let me stay in my high deductible plan, but it's giving me an HRA, which is a different tool, and you can use an HRA with free aid, but not all employers might offer that. Or some folks will say, listen, 6 months ahead, I'm going to stop my contributions so I don't have any possible tax implications or tax penalties on my 1040. Again, that's not our role at Social Security. We just want you to understand those ins and outs, to talk to your employer, talk to a tax pro before, up to 6 months before you go on benefits, because we want folks to be aware of that retroactivity, okay? And not just willy-nilly sign up for free A, all right, and just because your best friend did or your sibling, etc. Okay, so some people stay completely out of the Medicare system until they retire, and then they go into both A and B in this special enrollment period when they stop work. Other people, again, maybe I have a traditional PPO, so maybe I go on free A, which is secondary, but then I need to enroll in B when I retire. This is that special enrollment period, okay? So there's no penalty when you go in from work into Medicare, okay? So no penalty for you or a spouse. Now look at our third bullet point here. So you honestly will never have a penalty. You can always go from work coverage into Medicare without a penalty. So if, let's say that I'm carrying my husband Ed on my insurance, he's Medicare age, maybe he has Part A, but he gets really, really sick. Can we add him on to Part B at any time? I mean, I want to keep working. Is he just stuck now? I mean, anytime you can go from employer coverage, doesn't mean you have to stop work. Or, you could put your spouse on Medicare if you're covering him, or yourself can always jump over it without any penalty. Once work stops, though, the clock is a ticking. You got 8 months to get in without any type of penalty. That's a long time, okay? So most folks are not going to wait 8 months. It's nice to know that you have that option. But honestly, you're not going to get any other insurance. No company's going to want to insure you without A and B intact. So most of us want to line it up. You got 8 months, but most of us, it's like, I'm going in December. I want my Medicare, finish work in December. I want Medicare in January, okay? So it's like you want those to line up so that you don't have any periods of being uninsured, at least that's most of us, okay? Yes, theoretically you have 8 months, but again, most of us want to just line them up, okay? Here's how you're going to file. If you know when you're going to retire, you can really do this in advance. So your duckies are in a row and it's a very smooth transition. So I can actually start the process, again, up to 3 months before I go. So let's say, again, I'm going to go out of work and I'm going to retire in December. Like in September, I can start submitting my information to Social Security to get that Medicare moving so it goes seamlessly. Stop work 1 month, start my Medicare the next. I can't do it now, but I can do it up to 3 months ahead of when I stop work, okay? If I've already triggered my Part A, remember, pretend I'm in a traditional type of health insurance, PPO type health insurance. I already have my little Medicare card that has, Teresa, just Part A. All I'm going to need to do are submit our special enrollment forms. And these are in our little red box here. You can get these online. That's the CMS L564, which my employer is going to fill out. My employer would fill one out for myself, and if my spouse is over 65 and has been on my insurance, also each individual would need one. So my employer fills that out, and then I fill out the CMS 40B, number 2, which is the application to get B rolling, and I put when I want my B to start. And then I upload these online. It's beautiful. You don't want to upload it online. You could drop them off at a local office. You can even e-fax them into a local office. Most folks just upload them online. It's beautiful. It goes. Can you call us? Yes. You can also call us if you want to, but I'm just saying most folks just find it easy enough to upload those online, okay? Now, some folks may have stayed out totally. Like I gave you that example, like I have a high deductible plan, and I have stayed completely out of the Medicare world. Hey, that's cool. Then you're going to go ahead, though, and file online first. You have to get your online application going for the free part A to go into place, and then B also is at the same time, but you still need to upload the forms to keep you from getting a penalty. So what Kelly and I try to emphasize is that anytime you're past that 65 initial enrollment period, say that you decide to just retire like at 67, okay? You may or may not, again, be syncing everything up. If I decide to retire at 67 and I want my Medicare to start like at the same time, I can do everything online, like my retirement application, and it'll say, and do you want Medicare? Yes. You know, you can put it all there together, but you will need to upload these forms. The special enrollment forms, anytime you're past 65, these wrap around so that we know you have had employer coverage, your spouse has had employer coverage, and there's no penalties, okay? Again, it may not line up with my retirement. Just saying. Maybe, again, I'm in that situation where I leave work, but I want to boost my Social Security anyways. I don't want to touch I leave work at 60, 65, or let's play special enrollment period. I'm 68. We're done at 68. Okay, I leave work, but I want to wait till 70. Okay, I'm past 65, so I need to go ahead and make sure I start my Medicare, right? But I can just do a Medicare application, just A and B. I upload the forms. I'm good to go. Then later on, at 70, I can go back online and add in my retirement. So you'll see if you go in, you can just do Medicare. Also, you can, if you do a retirement, it adds Medicare in there. All right. And again, you can submit all of those forms online. Now, reminder that there is a general enrollment period. Kelly and I call this the catch-up period, the penalty period. All right, every single year, you can always get in. If you missed the special enrollment period or you missed your age 65, January, February, March, but most folks will be assessed a penalty for every 12-month period that you did not sign up. So that's not good. I mean, it's nice to know it's there in case someone just somehow missed things, okay? What we just don't want to make sure is we tell folks, listen, what we don't want you to do is roll the dice, okay? I mean, that's your choice. No one's coming for you like to put a hammer over your head and make you file for Medicare, right? It is your choice, so to speak. But we have had some folks who've said to us, I am healthy as a horse. I'm going to roll the dice, okay? If I get sick when I'm 85, so be it. That's when I'll sign up for my Part B. And we're like, well, this is an insurance product, and you can do that. But let's say you are, you do turn 80, and all of a sudden you're sick, okay? And let's pretend it's not March. Let's pretend it's June, okay? Then you have to wait till the following January to enroll. And you could potentially, in my example, have like a 16-year penalty assessed. So it's not that necessarily you can get that insurance product right away. It's only, the sign up is only the first 3 months of the year. So we certainly do not recommend that. I don't think you would recommend that to your clients either, but it is there in the background. Again, a person can go online to do their enrollment in Medicare or call us, okay? Then once you sign up, say in the special enrollment period, say that I've retired, I did my application, I submitted my forms from my employer. This normally, again, takes us about 4 to 6 weeks to process. And then we do send the Medicare card in the mail with that Medicare identifier on there. You can request a replacement card online in either the My Social Security account, or using a My Medicare account. And most folks will want to have both, the My Social Security account and the My Medicare account. My Medicare is a billing type situation where they can see the explanations of benefits and what other insurance you're carrying. The My Social Security account on our end really just shows you your enrollment dates, and we show that we're taking out your Part B premium. Now, you can find that Medicare beneficiary identifier number. You need that, to get into a My Medicare account and set that up. It's actually in the Social Security benefit verification letter within our online account. But even if folks go into a Medicare Advantage, that's like those Medicare Advantage are like big HMOs. And sometimes the Medicare Advantages will say, oh, you don't need your Medicare card anymore. Well, that's true for billing, but we still don't want folks to lose we always say, you want still to keep that original Medicare card, because in the background, even with Medicare Advantage products, everybody keeps A and B. You do not have a Medicare Advantage program, cannot get in it if you don't have Medicare A and B in place. So we always say, keep that card in a safe place so you can always refer back to it. Okay. So the final thing we want to talk about with you guys, though, is the payment of the premium. So most folks pay the standard premium, which is set by CMS Medicare every year. In this year, that is $185 per month per person. Okay. And that comes right out of your Social Security check. We mentioned that earlier. Okay. When it comes deducted right out of that, you have no choice. Okay. If you're not on benefits yet, you're billed until you go on benefits when it comes out mandatory of your Social Security check. Okay. Now, in the background, we at Social Security are looking to see if you are in a higher income category. If you are, you would pay an additional amount on that Part B premium and on a Part D drug premium. We call this the IRMA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount. Most folks just call it the high income premium for Part B and or Part D. So some folks have said to Kelly and I, listen, I don't think this is happening to me. You must not be doing this because I've been on Medicare for 20 years and I've never even heard of this. We're like, no, everybody's having this happen. It's just 95% of the population is under the high income threshold. So behind the scenes, they may not know it, but every single person we are getting information from the IRS. We do not see the 1040. We see a figure, your modified adjusted gross, from your most recent tax return. And this year for 2025, your modified adjusted gross for an individual is $106K, you'd pay more. Double that, $212 for a couple, you would pay more, a higher amount, okay? And every single year we look at this, right, using that most available return. So 2025, we're using 2023. Once we're done with 2024 this year, we'll use that figure for 2026, etc. Now, we just want to mention real quick, it's not on your slide, but the actual cost of the Part B premium, all right? The Part B premium, this 185 represents 25%, 1/4 of what it costs to insure the American public in our elder years, right? As we get older, we are expensive to insure. So we, as in the American public, as in the taxpayers, help subsidize that to make that affordable for our parents, our grandparents, our loved ones, people with disabilities who cannot afford the true cost of insuring. As we get older, we're expensive, okay? So we subsidize that premium, so to speak. So when folks go above that, we expect them to take on a bit more of the cost. Even those at the highest income level do not take on the complete cost of Part B. It is still subsidized somewhat, okay? So somewhat is still there. All right, but we just want you to know that for the majority of folks, they are going to pay $185. They're going to be under this. I know it's hard to see, all right? I know it's hard to see. But our second line here says, like, for an individual with a modified adjusted gross of between $106,000 to $133,000, you would pay the $185. Everybody pays the piper, but you would pay an additional $74 on top of that each month in 2025, an additional $1,370 for your drug plan. So again, let's pretend I go on Medicare right now. Yay! I go ahead, I pull the trigger, go on Medicare, and then I get a little letter. Dear Teresa, we used your 2023 tax return, and we see that you made $115,000. So you're going to pay an extra $74 on top of the $185 this year, an extra almost $14 on your drug costs. You know, let us know if you disagree. This love you Social Security kind of thing. Okay. But I look at this and I'm like, wait. I was working in 2023. That's why I made 115K. Now I expect, maybe I made that last year too, but now I expect to be, well below 50K with my retirement income. Okay. Taking a big hit. Do I just have to wait like 2+ years for that to catch up? No. If your client, I should say, your family member receives one of these notifications, we can make a new decision. Now you need to have a decrease in the thresholds with income, and you need to complete a Form 4-4, which is available online, okay? Now we have to line up the drop in your income with, right, and with a life event. We call these life-changing events. The biggest ones are change in marital status or retirement, lowering or stoppage of work. Okay. You do not submit this form ahead of time. You have to wait till you have notification, because some CPAs will tell me, I know this is going to be my client. I'm having them submit that form right now. And I'm like, no. You don't submit the form. It goes in a black hole. You have to wait until you get an actual notification of a higher income. Then you can submit this Form 44. And you might say, okay, I submit this now and I put work stoppage, March 10th, 2025. And you might say, you have no tax data for that. That's right. We will take your estimate. We'll believe you. But we're going to cross-check it when it comes to, when you do your 2025 taxes years from now. And if you do your 2025 taxes and it was like 200K, then you may owe, right? But most folks, that doesn't happen. I allege having the 50K, and as long as I'm under that 106K, it's going to be fine. All right. So just make sure, CPAs, that you're aware of that and you know about that form if your clients do have a situation where they have a life event. I'll just go back 1 second and say, listen, there are folks we cannot get them out of it though. I mean, if their income is in these thresholds and they're 85, and it's because, they went ahead and just distributed a ton of assets, and it's kind of a one-time thing, we may not be able to get them out of it. They retired 20 years ago. The spouse is alive. They may just be stuck with it, but it'll readjust every single year. Okay. Final thoughts on the lower end of the scale. You could have loved ones who are struggling to pay for their costs, or their Part B premiums, their drug costs. There is assistance through the state of Ohio through Job and Family Services to help pay for the Medicare premium. This is also called the Medicare buy-in. There's also known as Medicare premium assistance or Medicare savings programs. This is a huge help, and it's kind of counterintuitive because it's not through us at Social Security. It's a form of Medicaid through your local county Job and Family Services. So through Delaware, Franklin County, or wherever you're at, check that out. Again, information online. For some folks may not qualify for full Medicaid, but they might qualify to get the Part B paid for, and who wouldn't take an extra $185 a month, okay? Last thing, we at Social Security do not enroll you in a specific drug plan or a Medicare plan. We just get you an A and B, as Kelly, remember her chart she covered for us, okay? But we do offer something called extra help. And this is for folks who are on Medicare who are struggling to pay for prescription costs. Please check that out online, because these are higher income limits and asset limits than with traditional Medicaid. All right, so again, this is just to help with drug coverage. Look online, go to that Department of Insurance, OSHIP site. And again, look at, even the website, again, you can do the online for getting that extra prescription drug help. Why not fill it out if you think somebody might? It's better, we always say better to be safe than sorry. All right, fill it out or call us if you think that someone's in need and might qualify for them. Okay, so that ends I'm going to stop my share here for a moment. That ends our actual traditional slide coverage. Kelly, were there anything in chat or anything else that you would like to add here before we have a few minutes for open Q&A?
No, there was no questions in chat. So I think everybody was following along.
All right. Here's your chance, guys. If you want to post anything in chat, or if you want to go ahead and give us a verbal question, go for it. All right, going once, going twice.
And I will say, interrupt me if you do have a question. Oh, we do have a question. Can we enroll in Part D during special enrollment?
So the drug plans and the Advantage plans and the Medicare supplement options are not, they're different, right? We just covered A and B, didn't we, you guys? I mean, we were very specific about that. So these are different, have different guaranteed issue enrollments, etc. Normally that's a shorter window. Like you heard me say you got like 8 months to sign up for Part B. You know, normally like for the exact type of coverage, you got like 63 days after you stop work to sign up. So we refer you to the Medicare website for that or to the Department of Insurance website. I will say that, but I'll say this. Yeah, you could line it up normally, just to answer Mel's question. So let's say that, remember my example, I'm going to go out in December. Normally you can go ahead. Once you've got your A, once you're enrolled in A or B, you're going to be able to add on everything else. Okay. So most folks do one big go for it, if I make it any sense there. You know, you enroll in your A and B, and then you're going to enroll in your drug plan, and like a Medicare sup, you can do that all kind of together. I'll just say this, though, from my own experience, I know Kelly would back me up, that normally people, you need A and B in place, and then you kind of, because that's why you got to start with us, then you put all the other things into motion, because they'll need your Medicare identifier number, et cetera, to do the enrollment in your other options. The other thing you just got to be a little careful about Part D drugs, because if you have really stinker coverage through work, their Part D is different. Again, private companies administer Part D. But all of us that are employed, you'll notice we get things that'll say like your insurance is creditable coverage. There's like that wording says, and that means that somebody doesn't have to sign up for a drug plan. But if you have a really terrible work coverage, you might get a notice that says your work coverage is not creditable, and that means you really got to talk to somebody with Medicare. You need to talk through that, because basically that's a sign that maybe you need to think about going into Medicare at some point. So on our end, Social Security's end, we don't care how bad your coverage is. It's coverage. So if you have work coverage, you do not have to enroll in Part B on our end, okay? But for a lot of folks, again, it may be because if you might be paying a lot of money for work coverage, it's not awesome. So that's why we tell folks, listen, even if you're working, you may want to check out Medicare options. It might be more cost effective, and you might get better coverage.
All right. Any other questions, anyone? While we're waiting for any other questions, I will say, as Kelly and Teresa mentioned, I will be sending out the slides later today following this session. Along with it, I will be including a quick little survey if you don't mind working through it. Also, if you missed Kelly's presentation of Retirement 101, our last session, I've included links in that message as well to be able to go back to that and review it. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I'd just like to thank you, Kelly and Teresa. 3 years strong. I really appreciate it, guys, and I hope to see you again. All right.